It's all in, you may be seated, it's all in your perception on what you think you can do. Do you hear me? It's all in the perspective of what you think you can do. Change your perspective, you will change your life. If you change your perspective, you will change your life. If the only tool that you have is a hammer, you'll tend to see every problem as a nail. So when you look at this business, when you look at how you approach getting, how many want a listing tomorrow? Yes. How many are willing to do what it takes to get a listing tomorrow? How many will really do what it takes to get a listing tomorrow? So do you understand? See, because a lot of times we want something, but we really don't want it. And the many times that we want it, the only time we go for it is if we need it. So I want you to be able to change your perspective, because if you change your perspective, you will definitely change your life. You cannot look at your real estate business as just business as usual anymore. There's a lot of things happening in society today. Remember, the loans are about to adjust, aren't they, Fred? Yeah. The loans are about to adjust. And what does that mean for us? It means that there's going to be a whole lot more foreclosures out there, short sales, and people who need to do something with their homes. Now, our job is not to, I heard someone say, why do you do all of this free? If you start looking at the money, you will always miss the work. Don't look at the dollar. Don't look at the commission. Look at what you can do to assist your client to be better than where they are right now. Because right now, I don't know if anybody has ever been in here, but I've been in foreclosure. I almost lost my house. And it wasn't fun. You see, 17 years ago, my wife was pregnant, 9 months pregnant with my daughter. And we went and saw one house. And we walked into the house, and she sat on the chair, and she said, I want this house. Men, what do you think that did to me? She wants this house. And so I did everything that was possible in order to get her this house. We closed escrow the day my daughter was born. So you ask yourself, why am I in this business? Why do I do this? Well, let me tell you something. When my daughter was born, my wife was brought into recovery, and she kept holding my hands and she kept saying, I'm cold. I'm cold. And I didn't understand what she was saying. Now, we're all adults in here, so I can tell you. And when I pulled the covers away, she was hemorrhaging. And she was hemorrhaging so much that the hemorrhage was this thick. And we called the doctor, and the doctor said, we got to take her back to surgery. Took her back to surgery. They found where she was hemorrhaging from. She got back in the room, and she still couldn't sleep. I finally got her to sleep. And now I was able to get some rest. And the doctor pulled the covers back. Mr. Howard, can you please come with me? They took me to where my daughter was and said that your daughter had a uteral stroke and that she's in the neonatal unit. And we need your permission to give her a spinal tap. The neurologist came in and showed me the x-rays of where there was a mass in her head. My wife was trying to get some rest. And now I had to deal with my daughter. The neurologist said, your daughter is going to be challenged for the rest of her life. She's going to need phenobarbital. She's going to have to take seizure medication for the rest of her life. I told the doctor, I said, you do what you have to do, and I'm going to do what I have to do. And y'all know what I had to do. I had to pray. And so dealing with that, my wife in the hospital for the next 4 weeks, both my wife and my daughter were in the hospital. And so seeing my life as a realtor is more than just the end check of the commission. It's able to provide a living for my family. And I had to change my perspective that all that's with you right now may not be with you tomorrow. I said that to say, when you leave here, don't ever believe that what your real estate career is all about was based on how much business you did last year. Because if you want to make a difference this year and do 20, 30 deals, you can do it. But you have to change your perspective. How do you change your perspective? Take a look at this. I didn't do that. Who does that look like? That looks like an army guy, right? See, what you may see right now may be just a lot of junk. What you may see right now may be a whole lot of minutia that you thought that you couldn't do it, that you didn't have the right training, you couldn't go to the places you want to go, you couldn't travel to the places you want. All you needed to do was change your position in where you were. And when you change your position in where you are, then it's better for you to make it to where you need to be because you have a clearer picture of where you ought to be. Now, my job here is just to encourage you and to say if you change your perspective, you can change your life. I often, and I'm just about done, so if you want some reality questions to ask me about what I've done with the system, I can do that real shortly. I have one more video to show you. But then after that, I'm going to get out of your hair. Is that all right? The system works if you work the system. If you don't work the system's not going to work. Because a label is only a label as long as it stays a label. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
What kind of response do you get when somebody says, I'm working with a lawyer?
Well, it's different. Working with a lawyer, I'm working with I'm working with my bank. They're usually in denial, and sometimes you just have to hurry up and wait. Our business is relational. So it's basically how you stay relational with them. So go ahead and say you're working. Hi, my name is Frederick. I'm a homeowner advocate, and I noticed that your home is in foreclosure right now. Is there anything I can do? I know what has going on with your bank.
Well, I'm aware that I'm in foreclosure right now, and we're working with a lawyer. So I'm really comfortable working with a lawyer because he has a law degree.
So you paid for that lawyer, right?
No, not at this point.
No, but you do have to pay him?
Well, I don't know how to reply to that.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a lawyer. Yeah, you're gonna pay a lawyer.
I'm going to pay him. But they can't ask for payment for doing a loan modification. How will they do that?
Right, they will. It's just catching people at their most vulnerable point. You have to understand, all of these people that you are attracting is coming from a vulnerable point. So sometimes it's more defense. And until they connect with you, that's why I say that if you come looking for a commission check or if you come looking for a listing, they will know it. Many of you have children. And how many times, and I see your hand, how many times have your children came to you and says, "Hi, Mommy, how are you?" And then you say, "Okay, what do you want?" That's the same thing. That's the same thing that happens in our business. When they see you coming, you have to come from a position of value. And when you come from a position of value, the documentation that the homeowner advocates have, that documentation is that's your winner, because you don't have to too much say anything, because all of the documentation is there. When they say that I'm going through a loan modification, you can say, okay, here's the documentation in regards to what you're going through in your loan modification. If they say I have an attorney, well, here's what's going to happen with that attorney. If they say I'm going through bankruptcy, well, this is what's going to happen. You know, that's a temporary stay. I want to be able to help you, and then if there's anything I can do, please feel free to give me a call. Here is my direct phone number, because remember, right now all they have is my 800 number. Now when you create that friendship, then it becomes to a point that they know that you're first in mind, so that if anything happens, they can call you for information. You follow me there? Okay. Yes.
Did a very good job explaining creating a relationship and stuff. About the question. If they're not paying their attorney, I've seen this happen once. It's usually the trustee that's an attorney. There's no way the trustee's going to work with them. Because every other attorney, they'll charge them, but they won't book loan on it. They'll ask for retainer $3,000, whatever it is.
Now, loan modifications work. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Now, I know Lee's totally against, but don't be afraid to direct them to a loan modification company. Okay? Don't be afraid. I do it all the time. But out of 5 people that I've sent, 3 have come back to me, and we've listed their property. Now, here's the key. Things can happen with a loan modification. Maybe they can't get approved for it, or they don't like the terms. And if they don't like the terms, they say, okay, go ahead and sell it. So you have to understand that the key to this system is not that you're going to get a listing. The key to this system is you're going to create a face-to-face relationship. And with that face-to-face relationship, guess what happens? It may not happen with that client, but they may see that you are an advocate for them, that somebody else needs some help. So let me share a most recent experience. I put some labels on a property. A gentleman called me, and I went to the appointment. Guess what? I am a scary person. I'm telling you, I'm scary. Unless you give me permission, I really don't want to, unless you give me permission to come into your space, I really don't want to be there. But when you call me, that means you've given me permission. So this young man, he called me. I went on the appointment, knocked on the door, and guess what? Just like Dave says, I do not call. Because if I call, I know that means that I won't have that appointment. Now, you'll get scared to the point whereas you'll say, I don't want the appointment. Well, if you don't want the appointment, just go ahead and call them. They will cancel the appointment, okay? So I went there, knocked on the door. He opened the door with, as David said, that 6-inch, and he said, who is this? I said, my name is Frederick. I'm the home loan advocate that you requested information from. Okay, can you give it to me? I said, well, can I talk to you? He said, no, not right now. He said, I'm not really in the mood to do that right now. And as I noticed, we are trained to look with our eyes and to observe things that have gone on. I looked into his house. There was mail on the floor. He just let mail fall through the slot, and he was just walking over it. But the label got his attention. And so he said, well, you can give me the package, but I don't want to talk to you. He literally said that. I don't want to talk to you, but you can give me the package. Guess what I did? Did I walk away? No. I gave him the package. Why did I give him the package? Because my phone number, my traceable number is on there. I know where it's going. I know when he calls. And guess what? A week later, he called and said, can you come to my office so that we can discuss what we can do with my property? Guess what we did? I went to his office, and guess what I had in hand? I had a listing agreement, because he said, we need to